you to just close your eyes, relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Om Vakratundaya Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Hridaya Namo Namaha Suklam Bharadram Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturjam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye Shankam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ram 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 Ganapataye Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Om
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word meaning literally community of truth, but really referring to any spiritual community where two or more people on the path of awakening and transformation in higher states of consciousness come together to share their journey, to share their challenges, to share their breakthroughs and insights. It's a very important part of the spiritual journey to join together with others on the path. It strengthens us immensely. So thank you for being here. We're working on a very focused project, and that's to help awaken as many people as possible, as quickly as possible, from the illusion of separation, separate existence, egoic consciousness, into awakening to oneness with all that is. That's going to be ultimately the solution for planet Earth. Humanity needs to shift, not just a few of us, not just a lot of us, but all of us. The collective consciousness needs to shift from competition, conflict, and war to cooperation, harmony, and peace. And this requires the awakening of the heart to our true nature. And each time one of us awakens, it sends ripples out into the collective consciousness, making it easier for others to awaken and bringing us closer to that tipping point where the entire collective shifts. That's what we're working toward. We have lots of tools, but to that end, we have a very special one we call the Flowering Heart Blessing. There are many forms of blessing at work out there today. Awakened masters and saints have opened the doors to transmit awakened consciousness and divine energy. In the past, it was often kept very secret and for only a few, but now, because the world is in the condition it's in, and because people are ready, the masters and saints are just pouring out these blessings that bring awakening and transformation. The Flowering Heart Blessing is just a shade different. When the Divine gave this to me and Suzanne about 8 years ago, the Divine told us, this isn't yours. Give this to people. It's mine. Tell them it is not being filtered through an avatar or a saint or a master or a spiritual hierarchy or an organization. It comes directly from Source to whomever I choose to give it to. And it's a gift of grace, unconditional love. So don't charge for it. Give it away. And if people are interested in becoming instruments of the Flowering Heart Blessing to flow through them, tell them that as soon as they receive it once, they have been initiated, activated to be able to share it with others. So right now, you're soaking in it. If this is your first time, just open to the presence and the collective energy that we're sharing. It is awakened consciousness and presence. And all you have to do is invite the Divine to flow through you, to give it to others. You hold people at a distance in your heart in prayer and meditation, and the Divine will just pour it through you. If you have someone physically in your presence, you can, with their informed consent that this is going to really shift things in their lives, you can lay your hands lightly on their head and just invite the Divine to pour out the Flowering Heart Blessing, and that's all you have to do. The Divine does all the rest. We don't need to know how it works or try to make anything happen. We just get in the way when we do that. So please start right now sharing the Flowering Heart Blessing with all of us and with everyone that comes on the satsang tonight, and with those who will be viewing this video of the satsang in the days ahead. We hold a special intention that they will experience exactly the same presence, awakening presence and blessing that all of us are. So, give us a like or a love. I see a number of you have. And that includes if you're watching this on another day or another week or another year. Give us if it's on Facebook Live, give us a thumbs up or a heart. And we go in and look after the satsangs, and we send special hugs and blessings, and it warms our hearts to know that you dropped by. If you're on Vimeo, you need to enter a comment in the chat and tell us your name. And if you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, I don't know. I don't think you can bless us. Well, you could, I think YouTube, yeah, we can get likes. Sure, why not? But I don't think they give us your name. Anyway, so we like to open it to questions and answers about the spiritual journey for the next number of minutes. That moves the divine to inspire us with insights and clarifications, light to share with you, and we all benefit from it. So look inside and ask if there might be a question in there that you could throw out and get some light yourself, but also help everybody else in the satsang. Because even though all of our journeys are somewhat different, they all have certain parallels, and we go through similar experiences along the way. So your question will help everybody.
And if you didn't check out the Communion with the Cosmic Christ service yesterday, you might want to do that. It should be just a little further down on the page on Facebook. And it's very, very powerful. It was, it left us all that were here in attendance just sitting in silence with our eyes closed for quite a while afterwards. It was a really, really beautiful message and a beautiful service.
It's very powerful, helpful stuff. It will minister to you, and we talk about releasing what was, accepting what is, and co-creating what will be. 3 very important moves. And we don't just talk about it, we actually dive in and do it in the course of the service. So that's why no one could talk at the end. Everyone was just lost in space. It was lovely. And that lasted all day long.
It did.
Wow.
Spaced all day long.
So while you're, I'll come back to Michael's question, but first I'm going to read some quotes from inspiringquotes.com.
Oh, one quick thing too, we have a storm headed towards us, so if you could hold us all in prayer for this whole area and the state of Florida, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, I was going to come to that later when we actually went to prayer and
Okay.
blessing, but it's never too early, and it's not just a storm. It's predicted to be a Category 3 hurricane that could be potentially very damaging somewheres along the west coast of Florida, and then plow right across Florida through the southeast United States into the Atlantic and up the Atlantic. It's a challenging storm because the waters are so warm. The waters in the Gulf of Mexico are like 6 degrees hotter than normal. And hurricanes are this counterclockwise spiraling column of hot air rising. So you heat up the water under it and you got a mess. So we appreciate your prayers. So these are 9 quotes to calm a troubled mind. I've never met a mind that wasn't troubled. So and the author is Paula Bennett. She's a writer based in Brooklyn, New York. She writes a fortnightly newsletter that treasures the mundane, called Small Histories. Find her on Instagram and Paula Bennett. So here's what Paula writes. Overthinking. Anybody familiar with that? Overthinking, anxiety, restlessness, whatever we call it, we've all had moments when our ruminations turn into something more difficult to control. When life's external pressures get to us, we may begin to doubt ourselves, our minds racing from one thought to the next. And the more time we spend stuck inside our heads, the harder it is for us to be present in our lives. Most of us have heard of the fight or flight adrenaline response our bodies use to react to stressful or scary situations. But there's also a third possible reaction: freeze. And when anxious or unhelpful thoughts have us feeling frozen or stuck, it's crucial to try to keep moving any direction but backward. Grounding ourselves is a great first step, whether that involves stepping outside for some fresh air, calling a loved one, going for a swim, or finding another way to reconnect with ourselves and the world around us. We can also learn to identify what we have the power to change. Let me start again. We can also learn to identify what we have the power to change and to let go of what we don't. Just know that this process is slow and requires lots of patience. We may not be able to quiet our thoughts overnight, but the more consistent our efforts, the easier it will become. The next time you find your head crowded with troublesome thoughts, we hope these quotes bring you some peace and relief, as well as some strength to move forward. So here are 9 quotes. Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing and gave it up, and took my old body and went out into the morning and sang. Mary Oliver. You cannot wait for an untroubled world to have an untroubled moment. In the meantime, it's best to grab whatever wonderful moments you find lying around. Lemony Snicket. That's all you can do in this world, no matter how strong the current beats against you or how heavy your burden, you keep going. Robin Snyder. I realized that I don't have to be perfect. All I have to do is show up and enjoy the messy, imperfect, and beautiful journey of my life. Kerry Washington. Letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Zen master. I drew a little green monster on my shoulder that tells me all these things that aren't true. And every time I listen to it, it grows bigger. If I listen to it enough, it crushes me. But if I turn my head and keep doing what I'm doing, let it speak to me, but don't give it the credit it needs, then it shrinks down and fades away. Emma Stone. Your mind will answer most questions if you learn to relax and wait for the answer. William S. Burroughs. Does it change a thing, dwelling down each road of possibilities? Don't worry, little worrier. Don't hurry the hurt. Let the moment burn and just take your time. This is your life. Kina Grannis. I now understand that life and living it is more about being present. I'm now aware that the not so happy memories lie in wait, but the hope and the joy also lie in wait. Viola Davis. Touched on a couple things we talked about yesterday.
Right.
The Serenity Prayer, which is a wonderful little meditation in itself. Okay. Well, let's see. Well, Michael's question is still here, so we'll tackle it. Luz Marina says, Namaste from Venezuela. Namaste, my friend. Danny Bell says, Namaste. Luz Marina also says, Hola more que de años. Si more. Okay. Michael's question. When I visit your center, the presence is very strong there, and I easily feel at peace. How can I get my own place to be like that?
You set the intention, and this is developed into the place that it is over, years of prayer and worship. But you don't have to have lots of people over and lots of meetings and processes to get that kind of energy in your space.
It takes two.
Yep. Or even just, yourself and the divine, and set aside a space in your house that's just for your meditation time, and some kind of an altar or a place that brings you peace. I mean, it could just be a small corner in your room. It doesn't have to be anything big or special, but the energy will keep anchoring there every time that you meditate there and do whatever spiritual practices you have. It gets stronger. And if you set the intent and ask the divine to grace that space for you, it'll happen.
Sometimes we call it sacred space. Create a sacred space. For you, that could be an altar. I have a meditation corner on the floor where I have pictures of beings that have been teachers and great influences in my life, and my meditation cushion. And I meditate in that same spot, facing in the same direction every day. I've been doing it for years. So that does work. That supercharges the space. Also, Suzanne said, take an intention. So part of taking that intention would be when you're sitting in your sacred space or anywhere in your place, invoke the presence. And just spend a few minutes opening to the presence. If you do that consistently, that door will get bigger and bigger and bigger. One of the reasons it is so strong at Flowering Heart Center is because this is a consecrated building that was purchased and set up to be a place of satsang, a place for people to come together in spiritual community, to meditate, to do processes, and so that does bring tremendous energy. That's one of the great things about satsang, because we multiply one another's silence and presence. Beginning meditators often find it much easier to meditate in a group than alone. And alone, there's not enough inner silence yet, inner peace. But you come into a room where everybody's got a little bit and not enough. But you put our little bit and not enough together, and it's a big pool that we're all splashing around in of silence and peace and presence. It's interesting, I reached a point in my life where it became harder for me to meditate in groups than alone, because I was aware of all the chatter and all the mental movement. And a lot of times when I'm in a group doing meditation, it's when when everyone stops meditating. Everything just goes completely silent in my space, because nobody's trying to do anything anymore, and there isn't that collective chatter. So it can work both ways. But
the other thing too is, Michael touched on about when we all come together. It's also, the people that have been coming regularly to satsang on Wednesday nights, we've all grown together, and we've all deepened in our process and deepened in our connection with the divine presence. And so when we sit here together, the silence is just profound. I mean, it's palpable. You can hear the silence loudly because we've all done it for so long, and we trust each other, and we've gotten to know each other and our struggles and our challenges, and so that's also very much deepened the space.
Sometimes when we're alone, it's easy to just give ourselves to our own mental mind field and just trip into our own thoughts and struggles and the things we're thinking about. And when we come together with even one other person who's sharing themselves with us, it takes us out of that personal mental world into a shared oneness. So, yeah. That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Well, usually people are told to create a sacred space. it could be, for some people, it's a little prayer closet, an empty closet that they go in to just shut out the world and be alone in prayer. For me, it's my meditation corner. There's an altar right behind us. It's a very important focal piece in our satsang hall here.
And also too, the more that you practice in the same area or same space and you're anchoring that energy, it reminds me of one of the quotes that Michael just read about you need to take the time to listen. You know, that, what was it, the mind will give you an answer if you have patience and just wait.
Yeah.
Wait and listen. We have to listen. And so
I don't know that I always want to hear what the mind has to say.
I know, I didn't
got
agree
the
with
point.
the mind,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can wait for the heart to give you the answer.
Right.
But that's true. We're getting messages and information all the time from the Divine Presence, but we haven't fine-tuned our listening ability to it. So there's always a reason why our minds are blocking listening. So the more that we can consecrate a space and anchor the energy there, and then remember to listen for guidance, listen for the peace, listen for the silence, and it's a learning curve, but it works.
I guess there aren't any more questions. I should have read the other. I'll usually have a couple lists of quotes, and I choose at the last one. The other one is, what to do when you're in a creative rut. when inspiration is not coming. And one of the quotes says, if you just keep showing up, eventually the muse will show up too. Either when you invite her, or she'll just show up anyway. But anyway, you just keep showing up yourself. And it explores how artists and authors sometimes are staring at a blank canvas or a blank page for a long time before inspiration comes. But if you just will set yourself and wait, the door will open of inspiration and creativity. So that's sort of an encapsulation of that list. I'm going to hit refresh, but I suspect, well, I guess we may finish a little early tonight because we are making hurricane preparations. Expecting not the hurricane to come,
No.
but being responsible.
Yes.
Lived in Florida for many years. So that's what we do here. You got anything else you want to add?
No.
Well, okay then. I guess we'll dive into the next level. Close your eyes, please. Close your eyes, center in your spiritual heart of hearts, and invoke the Divine Presence. Invite the Divine to flood and open and flower your heart. The Divine Presence is everywhere. There's no point or spot in all of existence where the Divine is not fully present in all of its fullness. We have a special connection at the center of our being, the center of our spiritual heart. If we go deep, deep, deep inside, we come to a place of pure love, and we discover our own divine essence is the divine source itself. We discover that the one we were seeking was within us all along. And when we make contact with the light at the center of our being, it begins to shine and radiate and flood outward. Our hearts begin to flower. And the light at the center of our spirit illuminates our spirit being with enlightened consciousness, because our true essence is enlightenment, is the divine. It begins to radiate out through the mental and emotional layers of our being, clearing wrong thinking and programming and negative charges, and replacing them with divinely inspired thoughts, insights, feelings. It shines into our physical bodies, bringing healing, transformation, and strength. It shines out into our relationships, setting them right, and out through our lives into the world, bringing transformation and light to all the people around us. Just consent to the action of the divine presence within and through you. Welcome the divine. It is all-knowing, all-wise, all-powerful, and all-unconditional love. It yearns to fill you with the peace and the love, the joy that you yearn to receive. So just open up and drink it in. It's pouring out to you now. You don't need to beg. There is no distance between you and the divine. The illusion of distance is a trick of the mind. The truth is, you're already one with the divine, and your true nature is awakened and enlightened. Welcome it, receive it. Just relax and allow it to unfold. Carrying a burden tonight, a problem, an issue, a struggle, a pain, a hurt, release it now to the divine presence. The divine knows exactly what to do and has the power and the wisdom to get it done. So release the weight of your cares and anxieties. Just release them to the presence. With your eyes still closed, envision us sitting in a blessing circle together. Lift up your hands with your palms open, facing forward, and let us all take a moment to invite the presence to pour the flowering heart blessing through each and every one of us to all the others sitting in the circle. Two, that the blessing is flowing through all the others in the circle to you. As you give the blessing to the circle, as it flows through you, it works on you and transforms you even more powerfully than just receiving, when you allow yourself to be an instrument of blessing to flow through you to others. Now, if you would envision the planet Earth in the middle of our circle, and I'd like to zero in on the Gulf of Mexico. You could envision in the Gulf of Mexico a cloud, a large circular cloud formation that's revolving in a counterclockwise direction somewhere off the coast of Cuba. And let us take a strong intention for these winds to slow down, dissipate, and disappear. And ask the divine that there should be no loss of life or damage to people's lives, their homes, their properties. Relax and rest your hands somewhere in your lap, palms up as hard as that. And when you're ready, open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just make sure you keep looking at least one of our eyes during the light meditation that we're entering into. In the light meditation, all of our eyes are open. Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of divine grace and love and light. It flows through every pore of our being to you, especially through our eyes, the doorways of the soul. That light streams out through our eyes into your eyes, going deep, deep, deep into your spiritual heart, causing the light of awakening, the fires of divine love to burn brighter and brighter and brighter within your heart. Nothing to do, just keep looking and receiving. Close your eyes now. Meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace settles within us. Meditating as long as it feels nice to you. And or find a place to lie down nearby in Shavasana. That's a yoga pose where you lie on your back with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward. And just let yourself dissolve in gratitude in the presence. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you. Namaste.
Namaste.